was born. 2K Sports brings you the best in NBA coverage. Kevin Harlan here with Steve Kerr and Clark Kellogg. Doris Burke joining us from the sidelines. Our starting lineups will look at the matchups here and who we'll see for our starting five for both teams. And guys, what are we going to be looking for in this one from David West?
Well, he's a scary guy to go up against just because of how physical he is. He intimidates his opponent. He's going to punish you inside, and you have to be ready physically to play against this guy.
You know, one other thing you have to appreciate when it comes to him is his skill on the low block. Terrific footwork, nice up and under fakes, and he's got a tremendously soft touch.
And the Wizards head back to Washington after today's contest. This is an important game for them because they've really been struggling. Just one win in their last 5 games.
Well, this is an important matchup for a lot of reasons, guys, but I know that coming into a game like this as a coach or as a player, you know in the back of your head, you've already been beaten twice this season. You do not want to take a third loss to the same team.
Well, in many ways, Steve, it's almost a must-win situation, and that should be plenty of motivation enough. I mean, they've prepared for this game, the coaches and players. They understand the matchups, advantages and disadvantages. They've got a game plan at both ends of the floor. At the very least, they will come prepared to do battle. And because of that, I think it'll be very interesting to see how the approach unfolds in this one.
Out of bounds, Wizards ball as Washington keeps possession. A moment to check in with Doris Burke. Doris?
I caught up with Coach Randy Whitman. They've had a tough time against this team, losing both of their games against them this season. He said they're really tough to deal with because of their intelligence and execution offensively. You've got to play mistake-free basketball to get the upper hand. And so far, we haven't been able to do that. Guys, let's see if tonight's any different.
Thank you, Doris. It all sounds like a very solid plan given the shooters they have to contend with here, guys.
Yeah, he's aware of what their strength is, and he knows that they need to focus on stopping those guys.
Or at least limiting the damage they can do, Steve. Make it tough for them. Don't give them any easy opportunities. That, to me, might be a more realistic goal. Well, George Hill, one of those unique stories, playing with his hometown Indiana Pacers. He's a native of Indianapolis and Broad Ripple High School, was drafted by the Spurs, played in their system for 3 years out in San Antonio, and was acquired by the Pacers in a draft day trade back in 2011, and it's worked out well for both teams. Shots aren't dropping yet. They've missed 4 of their first 5 shots. Took advantage of some shoddy defense there. They've got to at least get a finger on it.
And Wall. Here we go now.
We on? All right. 1, 2, 3, go!
On the day that George Washington was born, 2K Sports brings you the best in NBA coverage. Kevin Harlan here with Steve Kerr and Clark Kellogg. Doris Burke joining us from the sidelines. Our starting lineups will look at the matchups here and who we'll see for our starting 5 for both teams. Someone will be keeping an eye on, Roy Hibbert.
And what you love about him is just the way he hits the offensive glass. I mean, he knows that those are the easiest points for him when he can find a loose ball, get an offensive board, and put it back into the basket.
And one other thing about him that you shouldn't fail to appreciate is the presence and impact he has defensively. He can lock you up and wear you down, and that effect really carries over to the rest of the guys.
Pacers looking to make the most out of their home court advantage here in Indianapolis. With most of their upcoming games taking place at home, they have a chance here to make a nice little push.
Well, they've cemented their status over the course of the year as one of the elite teams in the NBA. They've done everything that was expected of them over the course of the season, and they've really got it rolling.
Yeah, you know, Steve, that success, though, can be like a vapor and go up in smoke, especially if they don't have the same success in the upcoming postseason. They've set the bar very high for themselves, guys.
Ellis can't get it to go.
You know, you look up and down the Pacers roster, and at every position they have size and a player that's willing to be physical and mix it up. You throw in a guy like Paul George, who's one of the elite rebounders at his position. It's not hard to see why the Pacers were #1 in rebounding percentage last season.
On the wing there. And stolen by Granger. And it's Hill penetrating. Kicks it out to Granger. George. Out of bounds. Dallas will take possession. A moment to check in with Doris Burke. Doris?
Kevin, I had a chance to talk to head coach Rick Carlisle. He told me they always have to be ready, especially against this team, because of their discipline and focus offensively. He said they can embarrass you if you're not attentive at the defensive end. We've got to stick to our principles and do all the little things at that end of the floor. Kevin, his team able to get the win in their last matchup. We'll see if they can get it done tonight.
All right, Doris, thank you. I think the message coach has delivered is well focused, guys.
Well, obviously he's got a very clear idea of what they need to do defensively. Got to close out on those shooters, take away their airspace. But it's easier said than done.
And guys, I can't overstate the importance of communication. Guys have to be talking, helping each other out, making sure they know where the shooters are, ready to switch, and then get up in their face and challenge those shots.
Well, you mentioned the Pacers. They do have size everywhere on the roster. And it's not just numbers on a sheet. They all know, Steve, how to use their height and...
We on? 1, 2, 3, go!
Waking up.
On the day that George Washington was born, 2K Sports brings you the best in NBA coverage. Kevin Harlan here with Steve Kerr and Clark Kellogg. Doris Burke joining us from the sidelines. Now a chance to check out tonight's starting lineups. Someone will be keeping an eye on, Roy Hibbert.
You know, Kevin, he never gives up on a play. That's what I love about him. He's one of those guys who will bring effort and energy the entire 48 minutes.
And one other thing about him that you shouldn't fail to appreciate is the presence and impact he has defensively. He can lock you up and wear you down, and that effect really carries over to the rest of the guys.
Wow, the fans making a lot of noise here inside the arena. The Sacramento Kings are getting settled in. Well, they didn't have the success they hoped for on the recent road trip, but now is the time to regroup for a win with the help of their tremendous fans.
And this one's about pride, guys, because if you lose this one, you will have lost all 3 matchups with this club this season. They're trying to avoid that sweep for sure.
Steve, no question about that. I mean, just for the sake of confidence going forward, it's important they prove to themselves they can beat this team. It would be very demoralizing if they finish the season 0-3 against this group. When Hibbert came into the league, guys, everybody assumed he'd be a project, and that's been accurate. But projects can pay off, and to have a player with his size and work ethic and skill is a huge payday for the Pacers.
Derek Williams checked in for the Kings. And here's Thornton outside. And George with the block. Hill gets to George. Up high to stuff the alley.
We on? 1, 2, 3, go!
Waking up in a dream.